Hello and welcome back to another day in the woods where it's the dreaded day. It's the dreaded day of going into the loft. In the last vlog, we fitted a subfloor down, which is P5 moisture resistant chipboard to basically help water or stop water from getting down to the floor below. It's working a treat, nice to have a solid floor in here, but we put this down so I could access that. Now, I've been stressing a little bit about going to the attic. I don't really like the idea of going in the attic. It's just one of those, it is what it is. I need to go up there. So I'm gonna get suited and booted and see if there's anything alive up there. I need to cap this off, this wire, this stray dangling down, stresses my mum out. So yeah. I'm going to cap that off just so it's safe. But I need to go up and I need to mark out where the joists are and the spacing of them and stuff like that, so I know for the future where to put the new one. Now, I did contemplate doing it all in one go, so taking out the loft hatch and putting a new one in all in one run. But as it turns out, I don't actually have to do that. So I can box off that loft hatch and come back later, and as long as I've marked out where my joists are here, I can come and cut it out and fit a new one in literally like whenever I want. I can do it from down here. I don't need to be in a loft to do that. So because the priority obviously is just focusing on this room and getting the bathroom progressed, we're going to take this apart, make sure there is somewhere nice to fix to, put some new plasterboard in and just cover it over. And make sure it's all sealed off. I have a fairly strong feeling that I'm going to cause a fair bit of damage to the old ceiling, but fingers crossed, we should be okay. But let's get the bin bag on, get on the ladder, and poke our heads around. I have a mask on. I'm not entirely sure if you can, how well you can hear me, but let's put this in. I ain't wearing this bloody suit. I assume you can still hear me, but let's remove this. And I'm gonna need the torch. Are there any wasps up here? No, I think we're good. There's a lot of dead wasps up here, that's for sure. Oh, the joist went the other way. That's annoying. I was hoping that wouldn't be the case, but it is the case. Let's bring you up into the attic. So, let me show you what I'm looking at. A whole lot of insulation. So, if we roll that out of the way, you can see the joist there. It runs this way. And then that, back there, is the wasp nest. Looking pretty dead, to be perfectly honest. Let me think about where to put you guys. This is most definitely a crawl space. There's not a lot of room up here at all, but I've found where all the wires are running currently, which is somewhat good news. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of timber. So what I'm thinking, I need to measure the distance between these, right? And then I need to make sure that down that way it's the same, so it stays consistent throughout this roof. And then on the ceiling I'll mark out exactly where each joist is, so when it comes to it in the future I can cut a hole out and I know exactly where to put my loft hatch. That's the plan, which means rolling all of this out. I can't lie, it's really hard to find a place for you to be, so I apologise for the camera angle. Alright, what is this one? This one is loose, so we can remove that for now. Basically, right, I found a light. So, we fold this one this way. There's a lot of straw up here. Right, so that's where the light is, which means the new loft hatch is probably going to go exactly where I'm sat. Oh, I hate being in a loft. This is so hard to film up here, man, Jesus. Okay, it's not very far, but you can see I've rolled up all of the insulation back there, right where my finger is there, sorry, I know the camera is a bit shocking, but that's the light for the next room. So my new loft hatch is going to go around here somewhere. Well, this is a little bit awkward. My microphone was turned off, but the mic receiver was still plugged in, so there is no audio for this next section. I'm basically just talking about how hot I was up in the attic, and it wasn't a very pleasant experience. But I have put some pilot holes in the ceiling, so when it comes to fitting the loft hatch in the future, I don't actually need to be in the attic to do that. I have a pilot hole right there, so I know exactly where to cut into the ceiling to make my new loft hatch. I'm pretty sure I'm now talking about the setup for running a new cable up into the attic to source the lights up there. I've been fiddling around trying to figure out exactly where the electrical mains for the lighting circuit goes up into the attic space, and I went through from light switch to light switch to see which one it is, and I determined that it probably actually comes from the bathroom light. Before we get started on with the rewire of the lighting circuit for upstairs, I'm pretty sure at this point I put out a very large disclaimer that if you're going to work on electrics at all, make sure you turn the power off at the consumer unit, also known as a fuse board. Make sure it's all completely off, so when you're messing around with wires, you don't accidentally hurt yourself. But if you're not confident at doing any kind of electrical work, then make sure you contact a professional. All I'm doing here is swapping out like for like, so it's fairly simple, and I've done this many times before, so I feel more than comfortable with doing this. But if you're unsure, make sure you contact a professional. Anyways, I've got my old cable taped up to my new cable. As I pull this, the other one should go through. And just like that, new cable up. Many hours later, I don't think it's been hours, but it's been definitely an hour. We have a light in here now. I don't know, just like that. It's almost like magic. Well, I got a little bit carried away. Obviously, I pulled the new wire up into essentially the first room because how lighting works is power comes up into one room, then it goes off to the next room, then it goes off, and it daisy chains around the house. Now, my lighting in this house is on one circuit. So it starts downstairs, it comes up to that, like, I don't know what, junction box, then it manages to downstairs lights, and then it sends one up to the upstairs and then does one room at a time. So what I've done, as you just watched me do, I pulled a new cable up to the first room, and then I've set up some quick wire junction boxes to basically send it off to the next room and the next room. How it stands right now, the way the lighting works, is it comes up, it does that room first, then it does this room, then it does the corridor or the landing, stairwell, whatever you want to call it, then it does what will be Benjamin's room last. So I've only laid cable for this particular light, and I've ran a new cable to the light socket or light switch there. So there's a new switch in with a new wire, as well as a new light in here. The other rooms still need to be like rewired. However, obviously that isn't my goal today. And if I spend the rest of my day rewiring the attic, I'm not going to get anything done. Like I said, I'll get stuff done, but there won't be any content for today's video because I don't tend to film myself doing electrics. All I'm doing is literally putting a cable in and then literally copying what was already there and then sending it off. What I am thinking long term, as it stands right now, obviously the wires go off to here to that light switch, light fitting there. But what I think might be better long term is either to move the light to around here so it's kind of on this corner so it hits both this side of the bathroom and that side, or better still, add some spotlights in, so like one there, one there, one there, and then like one there as well. So it kind of, there's like 4 lights in the ceiling. The main difficulty with doing that was getting that first wire from down here on the ground, on the first floor, up into the loft. Now I've done that, it's incredibly easy just to daisy chain lights off and get it all wired up. However, I don't have any down lights right now to just start sticking lights in the wall, in the ceiling. And my goal today, obviously, was to remove this loft hatch and start getting ready to like box it in. I say box it in. All I'm doing is, which I'll show you, is I'm going to put some plasterboard in that hole and then it'll just seal the attic off. With the exception of this trim, it's all screwed in, so it should be fairly easy. I'm making a really bad habit of saying that quite frequently. But I'm hopeful that I can just unscrew these. In fact, I don't even necessarily know if I want to. I think what we should do is pry these trims off first, actually. And then just take it back bit by bit. For this, it's going to be like a nice ASMR segment. I'm going to wear a mask because I'm probably going to get a face full of dust otherwise. Okay, I've got my mask on and I'm going to start taking these things. Next one. Okay. Need a smaller pry bar. Right, that's a loft hatch in here. That's like falling down. Well, oh, it's dusty in here. That isn't ideal. But it's not the end of the world. I now have a clean hole to work with, but yeah, like you can see the plasters has come away from the lathes. Laughs. And yeah, it's quated. I can't English today. It's created quite the mess down here, which has me thinking now what to do about the ceiling. For the actual loft hatch, I just need to fix some wood here and then just screw in a new piece of plasterboard. But the rest of this lath and plaster, I can either try to salvage it and put some new plaster up, or I could take the ceiling down like I did for the downstairs bathroom and then put new plasterboard up and then just do the whole ceiling rather than just a loft hatch. Either way, it's not a particularly quick job. It's a messy one as well. Ooh, I don't know what to do. Right, my options have now expanded a little bit because I've spoken to a plasterer. This, they recommend, should be overboarded. Apparently, typically, with lath and plaster, most people tend to overboard it. The other option is, instead of overboarding it, is to take down all the lath and plaster and then put new plasterboard up and then skim that instead. Either way, I'm going to need to plasterboard the ceiling if I get a plasterer to come and do it. The other option I have is to box this in like I was going to originally, so create a bit of framework, put a new plasterboard in so the loft hatch itself is covered over, and then patch that myself and then get the ceiling skimmed and leave the lath and plaster as is. My fear with lath and plaster and leaving it in the ceilings or on the walls and so on is that it has a tendency to come away from the lath. And I have a funny feeling if I try and skim it or something, then likely chances are it's just going to crumble. Like it's not going to bear the weight of the new stuff. As I say, I don't know professionally from that perspective whether that is the case or not. The only real way I'm going to know is by getting a plasterer out to have a look at it. If I get a professional to come and do this, it's going to cost me somewhere in the region of like 400 quid, and that probably doesn't include materials. So to get the ceiling plastered and materials, I'm probably looking at about £500-600 probably, just to do this, to do one ceiling. Oh, now I am relatively confident at overboarding it. So putting new boards up and doing that, I think I'm capable of doing that. I don't think I'm capable of skimming the ceiling. I just don't. I think if I personally try to skim it, it won't be a smooth, flat ceiling. It'll have bumps in it, and it'll be all over the shop, and it'll look like a right dog's dinner. And I don't want to do that. I don't mind do it on the walls. I've had a fair amount of practice doing it on the walls, and by the time I've done many rooms in this house, like I feel like I can get probably a pretty good finish on doing walls. But ceilings is like, it's above you. It's a whole new ball game trying to do that. So I can either try and save money and just patch this up, or I can get a professional to come out and do it, which delays this project further because my pockets are only so deep, and spending another 400 quid to get the ceiling done is like, shit, it's just another expense. Because it's like costs you just don't really think about. Like I've had to, because of the toilet downstairs and the change to having a cistern built into the wall in this room, I've had to buy a new toilet, which is, £150 or whatever it is. The sink, fortunately, I've still got, but I've obviously had to buy the pipe work and all the fittings and all these things, they add up. Now, doing it all myself, I've obviously saved money because I'm not paying for labour costs. Because I think the first guy I called was like £370 on labour. So purely for his labour, it's £370, and then it's £370 plus materials. So if you imagine if I had like a plumber come in, and it's like £300 labour plus on the materials. So I've saved, every time I do something myself per day, I'm saving myself like 300 quid effectively. Like it's a rough way to look at it. So yeah, ultimately I'm going to need the materials anyway. So I'm like, do I just save myself 300 quid, or is it worth £300 just to get the ceilings done properly? I'm not sure right now, but I do know that this is a mess. So let's do a bit of magic to get the whole room tidy. And with the power of editing on YouTube, I have made a decision since that last clip, and I got a plasterer who's going to come out tomorrow and do the ceiling. He ended up quoting me £415 to get the whole thing done, which includes fixing the loft hatch, overboarding the whole ceiling, skimming the whole thing. Whole job just done in a day. I can't complain. I'd rather have a professional come out and do this room properly than me faff around trying to, do it all myself. I'm happy and open to trying and doing as much as I possibly can on my own. But there are some things where you just need the professionals. Like, thankfully, we had James, who is a professional plumber, come out and help me, and he didn't even charge me. Like, he just came out of the kindness of his heart, thanks to being one of you legends who watches the videos, and just gave me a hand with some stuff. I don't know any plasterers, and I don't know if any of you guys watching the vlogs are plasterers, but for this job, I've just called in a pro. He's going to come out and do it for me. It would be nice if he's a good guy and I actually get along with him. Maybe it's highly unlikely that I'll film. I don't like filming family members, let alone random people I don't know. But we'll see. Maybe he'll teach me some things, or I can watch and see how he does it. But if he is a nice guy and I get along with him, then there's a lot of work for him here, because there are other rooms that need plastering, whether that's walls, ceilings, and so on. So maybe he'll come and see how much work we've got to do here, and we can kind of work together on getting like a pretty good deal down. Otherwise, I don't really want to pay a plasterer per room, $415 per ceiling per room. But by the time I've done plastering the ceiling, God, it would cost me a fortune. But yeah, that is the decision for this room, which ultimately means there is very little for me to do in here other than just put things away. I don't like leaving all of my tools out. I've had things go missing already since I've been here, and that could just be to neglect and not knowing where my stuff is. But I don't want to leave all of my stuff out just in case. You don't know. Well, you know, when you invite someone into your home, this guy is a professional. He does this for a living, so yeah, should be fine. But yeah, better to be safe than sorry. Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those vlogs where it's just me rambling and not doing a great deal. This the downside of doing the electrical stuff. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see me do it, and I'll just put a disclaimer out not to copy what I'm doing, or if you think the way I'm doing it currently, where I'm just kind of skipping over and showing before and after, is preferable, because yeah, it's such a grey area when it comes to electrics. Like I said, I don't do anything too crazy and wild. I purely just do what's already there. You know, there's no real reason for me to go crazy in this house. And when it needs the proper business doing on it, I'll hire someone to come and do that, which I already have. I've had someone come out and do this. I still need to get the fuse board swapped over and stuff like that, but it's all opened up now, and you can see I've got a new isolation unit there. And I'll quite happily pay for a professional to come and do stuff like that, because I don't want to end up hurting myself. Do you know what I mean? What I might end up doing tomorrow is start working on the kitchen, which might sound a bit bizarre, but we have a new kitchen worktop. This was on clearance, so I managed to get it nice and cheap. It is a bit of an odd worktop. It's kind of like a weird cementy type effect board. It's also incredibly thin, but to be perfectly honest, it didn't matter. We just needed a worktop. Jess is getting stressed out having to go from dishwasher in the house to cooking in the caravan to garage to get like food, and then coming down the house to get utensils, and everything just being all over the place. So I've obviously got a sink off the marketplace. I managed to get that worktop off from like B&Q, I think it was, from on clearance. So it didn't cost me a great deal. Unfortunately, they didn't deliver all the timber I need, but what I'm gonna do is build a timber frame here, bang a new worktop in, put the oven and the hob back in here that we've not used since the flat. So Jess has an area where she can cook food, and then I'll probably put the fridge and freezer in here, and then this will just become like a temporary kitchen where everything's in one place. And then the sink that I got off Facebook Marketplace, again, same thing, gonna build a temporary frame here, bang the sink in there, and then yes, this isn't like the most sanitary room in the house, but it is a room with plumbing already in place to just stick a sink in there and just start using it straight away. So the downside to the sink is because I got it off Facebook Marketplace, it's missing some parts, like drainage and so on. So I'm gonna have to put a little bit more money into that. But yeah, I think tomorrow, just because we're gonna have a plaster in the bathroom and I can't do a lot while he's in there, I will probably focus on the kitchen, and I'm sure Jess will be very happy about that. But right, whilst I'm not completely done the house today, whilst I'm sure many of you are happy to see the daily vlogs return, it does obviously still mean I've got to do the school run in the morning and in the afternoon, and it is that time of the day now where I need to go pick up Benjamin and get Lilia from nursery. So I'm gonna jump ahead by like an hour, not that you would notice anyway, but yeah, it kind of breaks up my day a bit. So even though the vlogs will go back to being daily, there's a high chance that they'll be a little bit shorter. It kind of depends on what I get done during the day. Had I filmed like all of the electrical stuff that I've been doing and faffing around in the loft, this vlog will probably be a lot longer than it is. And the only reason it's probably as long as it currently is because I've just been waffling for like the last 10 minutes of the video. But these are the things that happen like when you renovate a house. It's like I need to keep you guys updated, and I could just not talk in them, but this is my life. This is how real it is. Just I tell you guys everything. I'm very transparent like that. A long time later, I'm back in the bathroom, and I am running out of hours in the day to actually do things. Yeah, it's been quite a while. The school trip took a lot longer than anticipated, and then I had some logistic stuff that I needed to sort out, yeah, my day's just gone to pot, really. What I need to do before I wrap up today's vlog is, I was just thinking, or I was saying to my mum actually, I hope the plaster doesn't mind that there's no floor here, but likely chances they probably will. And on top of that, it's highly probable that it's going to get a lot of plaster and dirt on the floor. So I think for the time being, I can't put any more of the new flooring down. So I'm going to get, obviously I've kept all of my floorboards that I've like taken out of the floor. So I'm going to put some of those back in temporarily. So there is a walkable surface to work on in here. So the guys that come round have no problem with that. It also means that I can lay a sheet down and protect the new floor from getting any plaster over it and so on. So yeah, I need to get some boards and put them back in the ground. So as I'm limited on time, here is a before and an after. Look at that. It actually feels very odd to have a full floor in this room again. It's been so long. Makes me a little bit excited actually for getting the floor completely boarded over. To be honest, I am debating whether I even need to keep it exposed. I don't think there's any reason for me to like have it open. I could probably just board it over now, to be perfectly honest, but I don't know, there's just something in me that thinks that I'm going to need access to that, and just because once I put these boards down and glue them together, they ain't coming back out. Granted, I do need to nail this floor. I've not put any nails in it just yet, so I do need to nail that down to the floor, but as I say, it's just, I don't need to right now because I've had to hammer that in and it's glued. It's just not going anywhere, so I don't even think nails are even worthwhile doing it. Whereas here, where the board has a little bit more freedom, it might be worth nail. I mean, I'll probably nail it anyway. But yeah, that is my day today, I'm afraid. I wish I'd done a bit more. I mean, granted, I did go up, remove the loft hatch, and we got some. No, that door. You can't see me. The door's on the jank a little bit. But yeah, we got the loft hatch done. We nosed around at the loft for a large percentage of the day today. Sorted out some wiring up there, which again, I did mostly off camera, so you couldn't get to see much of that anyway. Which is probably what kind of killed this vlog off, to be perfectly honest, aside from creating new problems for me to solve. I was talking to Mum about like, oh, you know, doing a bedroom is not going to take too long, but it is, because when you're catering all the things I have to do for the bedroom, it's going to take me a while to do that as well. But right, guys, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I'm kind of in the frame of mind at the moment of debating, do I like not go full on daily right now, because I need to find my groove, and I don't know how my week's going to go, because I don't know how it's going to go with Lily at nursery. Because there are 2 days of the week where she's not at nursery, and yeah, I need to just figure it out. So I may have said that this week was daily, but it's probably not been, just to give me a chance to figure out how the vlogs are going to work. So yeah, bear with me. Once I get my head wrapped around it, the vlogs will return to be as frequently as they possibly can. But I don't want to go in head first to something that I'm not sure about just yet. So we've had we had 1 week that was basically 2 vlogs in a week, maybe 2 weeks total of like a couple of vlogs a week, and then we can kick back off with the consistency again, hopefully. I don't see why not. It should be fine. But anyways, I'm gonna love you, leader. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the guys over on Patreon as always, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next vlog. Peace, much love. Bye. Let me think about where to put you guys. That insulation is such a faff. It's like a fluffy cow. This is so bad camera angle wise, I'm sorry. 1 second, let me just put you down. To fix this hole. But right, whilst I'm not mostly done, do a bit of maggot.